Hi guys, Artiar here. So for this video is updated PvP tier list for 3.4.16, which is also the last tier list for 2024. So this tier list here will be the continued version of the updated 3.4.13 PvP tier list of the all updated October. So there have been already 3 patches, and then there's a few more as per we're gonna add in, and it's like 2 months long. So I'm decided to renew it. And then the last tier list for this year as well. Then the upcoming tier list will be like next year. Then we're gonna see like more other as per, right? So this tier list here we have WTAF tier, which is what the actual fuck, and then meta, strong, decent, niche, and bad. So before I put in the new as per here, I'll make some changes. But before that, this tier list is based on Rezo 2, and then the highest priority will be knockout, and then beat bug, point wall, triple threats, and RTA. But it have been sometimes they actually rerun RTA, so we have no idea when is the next run of RTA. But at least for now, the highest priority will be knockout, beat bug, and point wall. So within this tier here, I believe you guys have actually seen a lot of this aspect in most of the strong PvP content. And this perspective that I'm going to make for this tier list will be depends on my tier list, depends on my range of tier, which is my point one is usually at 21 to 24. Somewhere that range depends on how active I play in point war and how many wins I get. So different tier have different meta, so maybe my tier list won't be accurate for you. Let's say you're like point war 10 or point war 16, definitely the meta is different, right? So yeah, this is based on my perspective. So within this perspective here, I think the WTF and meta tier will still remain the same, because if you don't understand like why are they at the certain what actual fuck tier or meta tier, you can feel free to go check back out the October tier list, which I actually make the explanation as well. So within the strong here, let's see Nora, all these kind of assets. Yeah, they are strong. Basically, maybe they are very good at maybe at triple threats, or maybe with point wall when they have their equipment, all those stuff. So I think everyone here is still going to be relevant. And then okay, maybe meta leading I'll push up by 1 tier if I really want, but R2 wise doesn't really change too much, I think. Okay, decent. I think everyone here still remain at their tier, not too much of. Okay, Elif. So Elif here I would actually push her up to decent, because after some runs within these few patches, even without R6, right, Elif with function actually have a very good synergized combo, which I actually usually use it. Even without the R6 assist, your R2 true damage and the Elif S3, the Lion Roar, is actually a very strong damage, and this damage usually when I pair with function is able to form a cleave team. So I would say Elif value actually went up instead of being bad. Like she's not going to be bad in PvP, she's going to be decent in PvP. Then the rest here, I think they will still remain bad in PvP. And then for Haley, for the niche part here, R2 Ollie I will push up as well, because Ollie with Mavius combo is a very strong combo. Then armor, all these things, yeah, I think here will remain the same strong. Yeah, I think the rest here will remain the same value when they're at R2. This is a R2 tier list, okay? Then I'll be adding in Wenlock. So Wenlock here at R2, because I would say Wenlock will be a more game changing when he's at R6. But when Wenlock at R2 doesn't bring too much of a value. Like, yeah, he gives crit rate, he gives crit damage above, she reduce the enemy crit rate resist, is a very good counter against Chuya, but at least at R2 wise, he doesn't bring too much of a value in PvP content. Personally, I will put him at decent. Like, it's a good buffer, but not too game changing at the moment. Like, if you really want to dispel, Tricky might actually do a better job. So I'll put him at decent for now, but for R6 tier list, I'll definitely push him higher. Then for B down here at R2, I will put it at niche, because it's like Hilda, but in the stone version Hilda, and I don't think he's better than Hilda in terms of like PvP content. Like petrification is gonna be good. It's gonna be a very good combo with Zihe as well. Like Zihe, Tricky, with Chu Yao and B down maybe can build a petrification team, and petrification is very annoying debuff as well. But I don't really see a need of using him, so I'll put here a niche. He's not going to be bad because petrification is a very strong debuff, so I'll put it a niche for now. Then for Meta Yinthuan, I'll put him at Meta. Finally, Meta Yinthuan finally have a Meta tier. So why am I putting in Meta? Because R2 here already unlocked his highest potential, which is reducing the enemy damage deal, right? And then at the beginning only 40% at R0, but at R2 you're gonna reduce the enemy damage by 80%. Other than true damage, you can actually apply this effect, and this effect here will highly affect Moriyama. It's gonna highly affect Suje, this kind of Esper that doesn't do true damage. But why am I not putting him at what the actual fuck? Because this effect is actually very strong. You can reduce the enemy damage deal by 80%, right? But true damage is not going to get affected, and especially Momo. Momo is not going to get affected. And even though Meta Yinthuan is actually here to counter Moriyama, but if the enemy Moriyama is actually a very high reso Moriyama, or maybe his equipment is actually strong enough, even reducing his 80% damage deal, he's still able to one-shot Wu Yu on most of the Esper, because usually when enemy is using Moriyama, right, usually they're going to pair in with Tolan or Yuhime. And when they pair Tolan or Yuhime, they will take the action first. So when they take one action, then Meta Yinthuan here will reduce one stack, and you will only reduce the enemy damage by 72%. And Moriyama ignore 100% of the enemy defense, right? So he can deal most of his damage, even though after reducing 72% damage from Meta Yinthuan. So most of the cases you'll notice that even enemy Moriyama, so let's say his Moriyama is like R2 or maybe R3, and with high divinity, even you have a Meta Yinthuan here R2, most likely his Moriyama still able to one-shot your Wu Yu. And most likely you're going to pair your Meta Yinthuan with Wu Yu, right? So Moriyama still able to one-shot Wu Yu, so his value actually is not that impactful. Like, yes, it's strong, but it do reduce. But if the enemy Moriyama is actually strong enough with the attack up buff he get from his R2, he might actually have a high chance to actually just still one-shot you. So I can't really push it up to what the actual fuck, but I'll put it at the meta tier. Then for Ming Shuo here, I will put him at niche as well for now, because I don't have a very high reso and a high divinity for me to actually test at my point war range. At least at my point war range, you can't really have a very good okay, maybe not niche, decent. I'll push it out decent, because his value is kind of like elite, like doing a cliff team. Like, he does a very strong AoE damage. This is no doubt, his AoE damage is basically able to one-shot anyone, but you need a lot of setup for him. And then his value is kind of like elite, being a DPS, but so at least for now I'll put him in decent. He's not like going to be like meta strong. I think he's going to be a very strong value for lower tier player if you don't have a very strong DPS. He's he's able to give you a very early game to mid game AoE DPS role, but after when you reach until end game, when you reach higher tier of point 1, maybe you'll see the value of him getting lower down a bit. For now, at least for what I'm seeing now, he's at decent tier, not until strong or not until meta yet, even though I really like him. Then the last one here is going to be the Humbaba. Humbaba here, I will put him at meta tier. I won't put him until the what the actual fuck, because he is like Wu Yu, but in a active turn Wu Yu. So Wu Yu is a passive damage dealer, so she get damage, she get hit until a certain stack, then she break down and kill you. But for Humbaba here is different. Humbaba here is Nathaniel. Nathaniel here is actually different, because he needs to, it's either you take your turn or either my teammate take my turn, he'll get stacked, and a certain stack he'll get bonus turn and then cast his S3 AoE, nuke everyone and clear the battle. Even if your Spirit Aegis from Chuyao, you will still basically get nuked by his overload damage, even at R2. And there's a lot of players have been sending me their own showcase, like R0 or R2 showcase. It doesn't have to go until R6, that's overkill, but R0 to R2 they have already doing a very good nuclear bomb job now. But his weakness is still more. He have more weakness than Wu Yu. Like, Wu Yu here is scared of true damage, right? Is scared of Momo, is scared of Jin Chu, is scared of Suja, all these things. But for Nathaniel, he's more scared than not just them. He's even scared of Tolan because of the taunt, scared of Suja's puppet art, scared of Zihe, or scared of the other, like let's say Chuyao with stun set, because he's scared of control. So he's like Wu Yu, but not the same tier as Wu Yu. Even though his damage is higher than Wu Yu, but he's pretty easy to counter if your team have actually control in it, like Dispel, like Chuya with stun set, Zihe, all these things. So if you can control him, not giving him the chance to gain stack, and you have a true damage Esper, basically he's not that scary. He's like Wu Yu, but easier to kill or easier to control, because you can't really control Wu Yu gaining stack, but you can control Nathaniel from not gaining stack. Yeah, but that's it for this PvP tier list here with the new Esper. So you can feel free to comment down what you guys think about it. If you have any thoughts, or we should disagree with certain part, because you have different tier, have different meta, because my server is server 2 and then my tier is around 0.21 to 24, this range up and down. Without any hex buff, without anything, this is the tier list I will go for. Right, hope you guys enjoyed the video, and see you guys in the next video. Bye bye. Special thanks for the direct support on the YouTube membership. So for the benefactor of Artiar, which is Gen MP, Yaki Shiba Tails, Kami, thank you so much for your support. And for the supporter or patron of Artiar, which is Louis Schneider, Acne, Code Wilderness, Wang Tamer, Ziggy, Kamaruki, Sunwalks, Rimu, Choni, Antonio Winterspoon, Marlene Williams, Im Cragran, Riku Fred X Iris, Calamity, Rocco Standions, thank you so much for your support. Special thanks for the direct support on the live stream super chat for the latest tag. Thank you so much for Code Wilderness, Calamity, Acne, Love Fatima, Fatima Little Underwear, Bloods, Riku Fred, Choni. Thank you so much for your support.